During the Secret War, General Meng Pao was one of his duties. He was in charge of recruiting the Hmong people to help fight communism, the Communist Army.
Nhớ cho có chủ trương dài này nó phong vang bỏ giờ biết mong từ thời cho cái lưu có chủ trương nó chủ trương lo tàu phổ tài han từ America.
I recall a memory back in 1973. It was around October 1973. General Van Pelt sent us a video clip, which is in the old days, the video was turning like this. And General Van Pelt would say, Hmong, it's time for Hmong to receive education because Hmong had lost their reading education.
Many Hmong people see him as a great leader.
General Van Pelt said if every Hmong can have their education and become to have the doctor degree or a lawyer degree or nurse, and Hmong can live well in the community.
One day, na phong bỏ chỉ tàu lụa từ thời cho mà mong cho nhẹ ya, mong chỉ mua cái cần đau chỉ mua rau món nó ta chỉ mà na phong bỏ được chỗ nào nửa lu muốn nhà cha bu cho mong nửa lu chỉ cần đau nửa sang cho sư phi tổ khăn đau cho mong cho dễ dò nửa bang sau cho mình tu nhiều một tổ cần đau nhớ cho tết chờ họ nửa tàu bang bị lúc này mong.
The earliest proof or evidence that we had as far as the Hmong people's origins is that the Hmong people came from China.
Because the Chinese,ตัวไปจะมองว่าไปจะมองตัวเจ้าไปยอดตัวฉันส่วนเต้วิไปจินจังเกิดใจเขาฉากไปจังเกิดจันดูจะไปมั่วเขา contradict ฉันไปจังเขา religion leader จะเป็นรัชตะเลยเนาะ
But in China, many things happened, and many Hmong people had to leave China, and a lot of them went to Southeast Asia.
When we break away from that culture, that strong culture, then they become individual.
Cú dùng nhóm lọt tê về thầu của tăng tầng cần đỡ cái ý này giờ, ít sinh chụp bộ trâu sang chụp bao nè về cũng như bao ta mua chủ trò nè, có chủ trò mà như pi thầu, ít sinh chụp bộ trâu chậu luôn là giờ, thì cũng tự bao là về bên chỉ nhá lang mong luôn nè, về thầu bên sư chủ trò xong sang dầu chi nè về bên cho mong là bên lu giò nè, chỉ lọt tê lu cho thái tê bên chỉ tao alo liền nè, bên tàu kế xí nè.
I am one of the one that 我叫法 I have 国家法的机长被怎么让我闹的呢？我叫法的机长 every little place that we stay in, probably the longest is a month.
The Hmong people went to left Laos to go to refugee camps in Thailand, and from there they were scattered all over the world.
Lùm lọt tê bên sở kế nè bên lu giò nhớ cho mong phênh là mà cũng mua cầu sông đó, cầu sông cũng dùng trong sông ít sinh chụp bộ sang chảo chua, bên tàu kế rồi là alo lì, là bên lu giò là mà lu chun tụt lên nắng khổng, cái bên lu lang tụt lên nắng khổng lu cho thay tê.
They survive by individual. I am strongly believe Beit Hmong is so. Beit ba Beit tu keng, Beit chỉ Beit nhẹ hoặc ba Beit tu keng kia Beit怎么搞的了Beit要去接，这Beit tu keng，只要我估计把它用了 ，I'm gonna use what I know and survive. So we are a superhero to ourselves. We are a warrior to ourselves.
I would say that the Hmong history is very tragic and very hidden because no one really talks about it.
My opinion about the Hmong history is that I feel like it's not a really well-known history.
How did Hmong people even get here in the first place?
You know, like, we were fighting besides, like, America, too. Like, it wasn't just us alone. And it wasn't them alone as well.
Not very well-known, but, like, some people know it, but only, like, Hmong people know it.
The Hmong people are kind of, like, in it and other races' shadows.
Something that none of us or none of our ancestors will ever think that we will, like, get this far.
I'm thinking in the future we're going to be a lot more out there.
There's already Hmong students getting the education.
And we're going to grow really big, and we're going to make sure that our name, our traditions, and our history is very well known.
Just like how all the other students our age are. And I feel like there will be some Hmong students that will thrive and be the best role model for other younger generations coming up. I am really grateful that I was born here in America, because I feel like we get some privileges that older generations didn't.
Good thing about it is that we actually get a choice.
Since we were born here in America, we depend more on like modern electronics and stuff like that. So we don't really have much survival skills as like the elder people do.
We can now live in peace and be able to live our lives normally now.
You know what I mean? Back in the refugee camps, people didn't really have a choice. They lived by rules, really strict rules. And if they were to break those rules, it's like, so I couldn't.
The elder people were born without electronics and stuff like that. They fully had to depend on themselves and their family and their relatives. So they have more survival skills than we do.
He has to take sacrifices and ways.
His job as a leader was to be able to lead the Hmong people towards the right direction.
Especially knowing that a whole like race and diversity is in your carrying all of this in your shoulders.
If it wasn't thanks to their being a leader and everyone else that was fighting for our lives, our Hmong generations would not be where we are today. Kind of like erased our history too, because based off what I've heard, I heard that a lot of like the Hmong history got burned down and tear apart due to the genocide that happened. And I feel like there was just so much that we could have learned now if it wasn't due to, all of our knowledge getting burned out. Because now we only know so much about our history ourselves, and it's really sad.
Again, they did not have any choice at all. They lived by strict rules, a strict schedule. You would have to sleep at a specific time, and if you were to break out, run away from the refugee camp, and they would find you, that would be big trouble.
Because in the past, people in the refugees, it was very hard for them because they were very crowded and they didn't have no room or peace because it was so crowded.
I can't even imagine how much they would have went through. But I feel like once they made it to the refugee camp, it was a good thing because it's a sign that they could finally breathe.
Some of the pros is that now that the war is over, they try to get a place to rest after having to run away a lot, having to deal with loss, and just a place to find yourself again.
And just imagine being blocked by wires and wall, but you could just see outside of it there was a whole village just enjoying their time there, and you could just tell that they don't live like you. And then you look at where you are, you see your people, you see everything that they're going through, and nothing is going good. They made it to the river, they think, oh my god, I could finally breathe for once. And then you realize that the refugee camp isn't that great. They were mistreated, and they weren't they got robbed and stuff like that. So by the time they were done being in the refugee camp, they started off with nothing left. Just themselves and their family.
Bye.